Awesome, we are now live on YouTube. So for those of you who don't have my YouTube channel, I'll throw this here. I am going to be doing my Friday and my Wednesday are going to now be broadcast on YouTube. So if you prefer to watch it there, the only thing you lose there is the chat. I'm not following the YouTube chat while I'm live because there's just too many things to keep up with. But so let's put that in there. That is my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, then go ahead and subscribe. You'll get notified when anything is being added there. All the replays of the webinars will all be there as well. And the reason I'm doing it live to YouTube is it means that the replay is already uploaded to YouTube and I don't have to remember to download it and then edit the front and the back and then upload it again. It will just be there automatically, as they say. All right, let me go back to how to work out bugs that are most common. All right, so most common is connection to Supabase. Most common is auth connections. Oh my goodness. Throw a 1 in the chat if you've had auth issues with cookies and refreshing and things like that. Those are definitely an issue in getting things sorted out. But the nice thing is that in the club site under the prompt library, you've got all of these fun little prompts that are there to solve different things. So, for example, if you have an auth issue, there aren't any prompts in there for auth, but if you want to create an admin area, then there's this, I need an admin for my app, and there's a whole nice prompt that you would use for things like that. On Wednesday, at the Wednesday's webinar, and the replay of this is in the YouTube channel, we covered how to deal with Supabase errors. So let me get logged into Supabase here. This was actually a really good session because it meant that I got to fix 2 of my sites that had Supabase errors. And that doesn't necessarily mean the website isn't working. So what do we got here? 10 warnings here of RLS issues. Let me go through that one more time because there's different people on this webinar than there were on Wednesday who would like to know how you fix all these errors and that subsequent email that you're going to get weekly. Anybody interested in that, or you just want to watch the replay? Oh, Alan says he wants to see that. All right, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot. Actually, let me close down some of these things on my screen. Otherwise, they'll be in the screenshot. There we go. And then we're going to take a screenshot of the security advisor and all the errors. So just like that. Okay. And then we're going to, this is elevated study. So then we're going to go into my dashboard and search for elevated study. Here it is. And then we simply then, so I haven't actually done anything in here since November. We upload that screenshot that we just took. So there he is. And then we go to the snippet library and we search for errors. And then this is fixing Supabase security errors and warnings. We copy the prompt, or we could just hit this copy button here. It's a little bit easier. And we paste that into here. And then we check that it's relevant, completely relevant. In Supabase, we have 3 tables. We have tables, not necessarily 3 tables that have RLS issues. See the screenshot. Please fix these issues so that the users can add their own data and admin has full CRUD access. CRUD stands for create, read, update, and delete. So that's what that is doing. And then we're adding the screenshot of all the errors. Famous is now going to read all those errors and then go through and fix them one by one. Now, the cool thing while this is doing this is you can come back here and press this refresh button excuse me, press this refresh button, you'll see them slowly disappearing as Famous goes through and fixes them. There'll be some things in here that it won't be able to fix. For example, this one, auth OTP stands for one-time password, long expiry date. Okay, so for that one we need to go into authentication, and then sign in providers, and then scroll down to email, and then scroll down, and we see that this is 86,400 seconds, which everyone knows is 1,440 minutes, which is obviously 24 hours, and that's a long time for a one-time password to be. And so we're going to reduce that down to 5 minutes, which to 10 minutes, which is 600 seconds. So it'll now last 10 minutes. We click on save, and then we go back to our little security errors, which is this little light bulb here with the red dot on it. The idea here is we want to get rid of the red dot, and now that one-time password error has gone. There's another one here that Famous won't be able to fix, which is the leaked password protection has been disabled. So again, in sign up providers and then email, we can switch on prevent using leaked passwords, and save that one, and back to our errors, and you'll see this list is going down, one because we've fixed two ourselves, and the others are being fixed by Famous as we speak. That's not it. Is it this one? There we go. Running query, clean up duplicate policies on tutors table. So now it's working on the tutors table. One of these is this one here is what it's working on, and it's cleaning up these errors. And like I say, we can click refresh. It's now gone down to 5. So the idea is that any one of your projects in Supabase doesn't have an advisors thing here. So that's there we go. Now we've gone down to 1. Postgres version has security patches available. Now this one here, Famous won't be able to do either, because it's talking about upgrading the database to a new database. So I don't think it's going to be able to do that one. No. So we can go ahead and go to project settings, and then infrastructure, and in infrastructure we should be able to click here, upgrade your project. So this is what we press, upgrade. We're going to select or keep it as the latest version and click on confirm, and now our Supabase is going to take a little bit of time to upgrade that version. Now being as Alan was the first one to say that he wanted to look over the security things, we're going to go and we're going to see whether Alan's project has issues, and yes, it does. So Alan has 4 errors, 20 warnings, and no suggestions. Okay, so we're going to start with these 4. Actually, we'll go with the 20 warnings because that possibly overlaps with the errors. So we're going to go ahead here and make a screenshot of these errors in the same way as we did before. And then we are going to open up a new tab for Famous. Oh, wait. I'm not going to do that on here because I need to be in his version. So let me just change my camera to be using the right screen here. And we'll flip from there to there. There we go. Gorgeous little and we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. So we're going to add the screenshot that we just created, and then we're going to paste in the prompt that we took from from the club, from the snippet library, and we're going to send that off to Famous and get it working. So then in this browser, I'm not even logged in on this side, so let me just quickly log in. Now, it's important that when you send this prompt, you don't just say, fix the RLS issues. You need to tell it who explicitly needs access to different things. Otherwise, features are going to stop working because it will just go, oh, okay, I've created a policy, and then you're going to get stuck. That's why this prompt is very well crafted for it to work every time. All right, that's building that, and that's working on these 20 warnings, and it's not quite started yet. It's just warming up and determining necessary secrets. Yeah, it's still working on warming up. Oh, we've got a question coming. What's that question? Devon says, can you walk us through how RevenueCat works and how to set it up within the app? I will do my best for that. It probably would be better for us to add another webinar for people creating mobile apps, and to do that in a mobile app webinar, just so we don't lose everyone that isn't doing mobile apps. But let's get this bit done first. Now we've only got 14. That's going down. 13. Oh, this is awesome. Let's talk about RevenueCat while we're waiting. So RevenueCat is a great little system that allows you to manage your subscriptions for mobile apps. So mobile apps in the App Store for Revenue can only handle your initial payment for the app. So, and this is why over the last few years, most apps have gone to be free within app purchases. And so the reason for that is they want as many people to install the app, and then within the app, you deal with the in-app purchases. And so RevenueCat handles those in-app purchases, because what you want to be able to do is monetize this with a revenue stream that you know is fully automated. You don't want to have to go, oh wait, Billy just cancelled their subscription in their iPhone. Now I need to go into Supabase and switch off their subscription. If they cancel their subscription, it should all be automated. And that's what RevenueCat does. It manages all of those functions. And so you need it for iPhone and Android if you're doing in-app purchases, which is basically any purchase other than the initial purchase of the app, which again is normally free. Will need RevenueCat to handle that management of the system. How are we down? Down to 13. Now, two of the 4 errors here got solved by those warnings. That's why I wanted it to do everything all at the same time, or at least start with the warnings. Okay, it thinks it's finished. So let's go back here and look at what these errors are. Now, it could be that these errors weren't on the screen when I did the screenshot because there was 20. There's so many of them. So let's take another screenshot of just these errors, and we'll just do the same thing again. So we'll give it a screenshot here and paste in our prompt, not that. This, get rid of the number because it's actually more than 3, and send it. Awesome. So yes, back to RevenueCat. If you want various things, so you might want to have a monthly subscription of $19.99 for your app. with a premium subscription of $29.99 in your app, you would use Revenue Cat. Now, what you would need to do is tell it that there's some free things that people can do without a subscription. So they can set up a Supabase login, for example, but then they can't access features or functions because they don't have an active subscription. What you'll do then is you'll get Revenue Cat to then switch on or switch off those functions. And in Supabase, you'll have is premium or is super premium, and Revenue Cat will then switch on those flags or those Boolean fields for that. Oh, thank you, Colin. Appreciate it. So let's go back and see how we're doing here. We've gone down to 12. We've got rid of one more. It's slowly happening. But everybody, if you're using Supabase, should do this. Now, with Famous Database, they don't have this security advisor. And so you don't know whether you've got these issues in Famous. And again, I'm sure it's going to come. It's not there yet, which for me is another reason right now why I'm using Supabase for my projects and not Famous DB just yet, because it's just not quite production ready in my eyes. So this is super important to know that you've got as many little security features in your app as you can possibly get. We jumped down to 4 now, which is great. Now some of these are those ones that it's not going to be able to fix. So for example, one-time password and leaked passwords, we're going to fix both of those by going into authentication, sign in, and then email. And the first one is here and the last one is here. Change that to 600 and save. So we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Sorry, birds. And now we've only got 2 in here. This one is the upgrade. We'll do that right at the end once we're down to 0. And this one here is the next one we want to do. So we're going to take a screenshot again of this, and let's do the same with this as well. Let's see if it can handle 2 at the same time. And we'll go here. And we want this screenshot. Where is my second one? Come on. Hello? I took 2. 24. Which one is that? That's warnings. Okay, let's add the warnings one. And let's go back here and do another one for errors. Awesome. And here is the errors one. Okay, it's uploading that, and then we're going to bring in our where's it gone? In Supabase, there it is. And send that. We get that working. So yeah, that's an overview of Revenue Cat. I'm sure in a webinar connected directly to mobile apps, we could probably cover that in depth, including actually setting it up on a dummy app. Maybe I need to create a mobile app that makes some money and just do it all. That would be a cool 1-hour webinar. Can I create a mobile app that has a monthly subscription, launch it in the App Store, and be making money by the following day? That's a 60-minute challenge there that I'm kind of up for. Devon, we need to work out what day we're going to do that next week. And we'll see if we can create an app, have a revenue stream, and publish it to the App Store all at the same time. That would be a really good video to put on YouTube. In fact, we're waiting for this to happen. Did I actually send that command? Oh, it's wants the screenshots show warnings about extension postgress, blah, 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 but not RLS issues. Which specific tables are you? Okay. And security define cron job shown in. Okay, there we go. So basically my prompt said fix the RLS warnings, but it'd already done all those, and the warnings here aren't RLS related. So that's it. It was being pedantic, really. It should have gone, oh no, he doesn't mean that, he means something else, and I'll fix those instead. No worries, Devon. Have a great day. Devon's been doing, now he's gone, I can talk about him. Devon's been doing some great work. He is in the waste management industry, and he's been doing some great work creating web apps and mobile apps for his industry, which is really cool. I love seeing these clients that are in a particular industry and are using their knowledge of that industry to create helpful tools for that industry. It's really kind of cool. All right, this is not. Oh, one of them's gone. One of them's gone. All right, I'll let that run. We'll go back to our other screen and see whether the upgrade to webinar, that one, to Supabase has been finished. So it's Windows, webinar, and Supabase. All right, there we go. So now look, the light bulb is now switched off. There's no red little dot. And that's what you want for every single Supabase project you have. So if there's a red dot there, pay attention to it. It doesn't take long to fix. And so, yeah, it's definitely worth looking at. All right. Okay. Any other questions? No other questions. What are we? Half an hour in. Let's see what else we can cover. Oh, we do have a question. Vincent says, "Can you remind me how to prompt best for an admin and user panel and test purposes in a web app?" Absolutely. So, I think this app already has an admin area. So let's go to my dashboard and into Wellness Pathway. So this is an app I created yesterday. How many prompts are we in? The first initial prompt, one more prompt, 2 prompts. So we're 3 prompts in on this app, and it doesn't have an admin panel. You'll notice it is using FamousDB at the moment. So actually, let me, if you don't mind, Vincent, I'm going to deviate a bit from how do I, once I've created an app, before I do too much in that app, how do I get it moved from FamousDB to Supabase if I want it moved to Supabase, okay? So I'm going to cover that, and then if I've got time, I'll do the admin panel for this. But what you don't want to do is prompt too much in an app before you move it to Supabase, if you are going to move it to Supabase. You want to have it as clean as possible. So in here, I only have one table. I don't have any file buckets. I don't have any users. I don't have any secrets. And I have one edge function. And that's it. So this is a very simple app to move because it's got very little it's got very little in it. And so here is the prompt we're going to use. I don't think I have. Here we go. I do in the club snippets. I have this nice little prompt which will help you move. So it says, please create an MD file. An MD file stands for a markdown. It's a formatting language with full database schema and function code. We are going to move from FamousDB to Supabase and need to ensure that everything is ready to copy before disconnecting the FamousDB. Okay, so we're going to copy this, and then I have already created the project in Supabase. It's here, doTERRA. So I created that yesterday. It doesn't have anything in it, but I created this first, and you do need to create the project manually in Supabase before you do this prompt. And so step one for moving it from FamousDB to Supabase is to run this prompt. Okay, and this gets it time to prepare for the move before you kind of rip the carpet from underneath them. This is giving them time to prepare and get things in order. What this is going to do is create basically a briefing file of what needs to happen when I move it from one place to another. Ideally, this would be the first prompt after your initial build. So you haven't fixed anything, you haven't connected anything up to FamousDB, you've just moved it from one to the other. Those people that have developed their apps in FamousDB and then kind of fixed a load of stuff, you find you have to fix them again when you move them over, and we don't want that. All right, so this is looking through all of the code. Come on. You would think for just one table and one edge function, this would be a little bit quicker, but it's taking its time. Out of all the people in the room, is there anyone that is thinking about moving from FamousDB to Supabase? Is this actually helpful? Or do we have other questions we want to answer instead? I love the silence. So now it's writing this database schema MD file, creating a database schema and function documentation for the database migration. So the first time I did this, I didn't do this prep work. I just kind of whipped it out from the previous stuff and then realized that it hadn't got logs of the things that it needed. And so, it caused some issues. Every time I've used that preparation prompt, then I've had no problems at all. And like I say, you want to do it as soon as you can after that initial prompt. So, and then you want to make sure that you don't have a database button here. The fact that you have a database button here means that you are using FamousDB. and we want to not use FamousDB. Alright, so that's done its prep work. If we go to code now, we can see the file it just created with all of the schema of the table, the one table, and that's all the schema. And then this is the code from the edge function. So everything is now effectively backed up, and although it's still using the database, it's not it's not relying on that moving forwards. So here's that database. We can see it's a famous database. And now we're going to go to our dashboard and to account and make sure that we have a access token here. Now, if you didn't create your access token in Supabase, you do that by clicking on your little icon on the top right-hand side. Go to Account Preferences and Access Tokens on the left-hand side. Now, make sure that your access tokens are expiring never. Because if your access token you have in Famous is already expired, it's not going to be able to do any of this. And so if you find that you've got an access token with an expiry date, then go ahead and create a new one and reset that in Famous so that it's got an up-to-date access token. All right, we're going to go back to our Wellness app, into Settings, and now we're going to do the drastic part. Now this, there is no coming back from. So if you haven't done that preparation and you do this part first, you're going to cause yourself problems. So make sure you do the preparation first and then this. We're going to change the database, and now it's going to list all of the databases that I have access to, and we're looking for the doTERRA one, which is what this particular app is for. doTERRA, here we go. So we are going to now connect it to the doTERRA, but what this is saying is you're going to delete the data. So any data in that previous database is going to be gone, vanished, disappeared. It's not going to be able to get back. If you know the short circuit film, it's going to be disassembled, and there is no reassemble once you disassemble it. Okay, and then we're going to type delete and attach. Delete means disassemble, so it's gone. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to watch Short Circuit, the first one, not the second one. The second one was crap, but the first one, you definitely need to watch that. And then you can walk around saying things like, your mother was a snowblower. And if you haven't watched that film, you won't understand that quote either. Anyway, now we are connected to the database. Here is the database. It's the Supabase database, but it's got no tables and no functions. So we've done step 2. Step 1 was planning. Step 2 was to delete and attach the database. And so now we're moving to step 3, which is back in Famous. We go back to our project, and in here we are going to say we have reconnected the database from Famous to Supabase. Let's put database pad in brackets here, because it's not actually called Famous, it's called database pad, to Supabase. The new project ID is, and we're going to give it that project ID, which is this part here. Please create the tables, functions, and update all access codes and select and update and insert statements to use this new database. Okay, and then we're going to copy that because Vincent's going to want me to put that into the prompt snippets. Beat you to it, Vincent. And step 3 of database migration from famous database pad to Supabase. Make sure you have done step 1 and 2. Watch replay of webinar January 18th, 2026 for details. Around the 35-minute mark. All right, that'll help everyone to know where that was, and then we want to get rid of my project code and put a whole load of X's in there, which is replace with the Supabase project ID of your project. Alright, and we'll save that snippet, and now that's there, waiting for you when you do this. Alright, now, not sure why this wants a resend API, so because I haven't set this up with resend, but all I'm going to do in here is put some A's in here, just so it can move on and create this, and then later on I'll work out why it's wanting to use resend, and it's probably for the email of the survey at the end, and so I'll get a resend API key for this client, but for now we don't want it to. Hitting skip means it won't do that piece of work. Supabase updates might have broken something. Okay, I'm checking it out. All right, well, we'll let this run. This isn't critical, but apparently our Supabase update has knocked over the Winter Challenge app. So let's go back and get that looked into. We want to go to Winter Challenge, and let's go back to the Winter Challenge browser. All right, here we are. Okay. So let's just check out here, stop impersonating, and oh look, awesome. So we're going to clear our console on the left hand side. Sandra at the beginning of this call said, can I show you debugging? This is debugging at its best. We are going to sign out. Okay, so now we're signed out. We have no errors on the home page as a signed out user. Now we're going to sign in, and now we have a whole bunch of errors when we're signing in. So what we're going to do here is copy our console, go back to Famous, and say, after we did the blanket fix of RLS issues, our users are getting a whole bunch of console errors, and the app is not performing correctly. So obviously when you normally do those security things, you would go and check afterwards, and so you wouldn't just do the updates and pray it worked. like I just did. So don't do what I do. Always test anything. When you change something, test it and make sure it's working. Colin, don't be overwhelmed. It's very, very simple. Follow those steps we just did, and then check your site works afterwards. And then, if it's not working, you're going to do exactly what I just did here, which is basically go from the beginning. Don't start checking things from the middle, because that doesn't help. Go from the beginning and and take those console errors. That's what these console errors are. I tell all my clients, I keep this console open, even if I'm just surfing Facebook or looking at my bank account or whatever. This console window stays open all the time. And that way I'm looking at these red errors and things like that, that are, are affecting your app. And ideally, you don't want a single error. Hey Janelle, welcome in. We're covering Supabase security errors. We're covering how to fix a website once you fix the errors, and then your website stops working, which is what's happening here. We fixed a whole load of errors on an app that we're doing for a client called winterchallenge.org, and then because we fixed the RLS issues, now clients are not able to do things. So this is kind of like, oh, there's a problem here, we solved the problem, but then we caused a whole load more problems. Now the nice thing is that the app was secure, but now we've got revisor errors again. Oh no, we didn't fix this one. This one we're gonna do once we're offline. This is the upgrade of the database. So we didn't actually do that one yet, but that's fine. Get all current RLS policies. So this last error isn't an RLS error. That's just basically saying that we're on an older version of the database, and they do upgrade pretty much every few weeks. So this error will come back. It's not a big deal. All you're going to do when you're ready, and bear in mind your app will be down while it's doing this, which is why we're not going to do it now. You're going to go into project settings, infrastructure, and integrations. Sorry, infrastructure, not integrations, where I just clicked, and then deal with this. Now this is saying that some of our functions are using the older version, and so we would need to upgrade these functions first before we upgrade it. So there's a kind of a cart before the horse situation going on here, and that's why you don't want to rush into doing that. You want to make sure you're planning any upgrade to anything, whether you're upgrading your iPhone to the latest thing. You want to make sure that all your software is working. Vincent, I don't think I'm going to get to your admin area, but in the club there is a nice prompt for creating an admin area in the club. If you just search for admin, the prompt will come up, and we can cover that in the next webinar, either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Okay. Yeah, so on the YouTube channel, Colin, is all of my re-recordings. If you're a club member, there's a new channel. There's a new channel that says webinar webinar recordings or something like that, and that's where the club webinar recordings are going to go. Before now, I wasn't putting them anywhere because they're only for club members, but they're now in the Discord channel, so that people can refer back to them. Vincent says he can't find the snippet for admin, so let me show you that. Under prompt snippets, in the search, type admin. Okay, he found it. And so create, this is another good one when you're doing, I've been doing this for all my clients. Create an impersonation option for admin users. This is so helpful for people running admin systems, so they can actually log in as the user. A user saying, hey, I logged into your app and I'm having this issue, and you can't replicate it, then this is a really good prompt. So this one here would be done first, and then this one here would be done second. Once you're happy with your admin area, you're going to add the impersonation. You could probably put the two together, put this first and then this afterwards. That would definitely definitely work. All right, this is apparently fixed some things, so let's publish this and see how far we get. Now this app is not using AI App Builder's host. This is using Famous Hosting. So that's why we can click this publish button and not have to download the code. It's taking a long time to publish. Come on, please. Publish. Thank you, Janelle. Janelle's doing a great job throwing the useful links in the chat. So you've got there the YouTube channel, you've got the Discord server, and also my hosting system for those of you that want to save some money and not have to worry about why this is taking so long to publish. Dashboard. All right, let's test it in the preview here because it's misbehaving. I'm gonna sign in as me, and boom, that seems to be working. No errors so far, so that's all good. My streak is there. I need to log yesterday's walk. I nearly killed myself the other day with this walking. I decided I was going to walk to Starbucks, which is 1.01 miles away from my house. But once I was about a quarter of the way there, I realized there were no footpaths all that route. And so it was late at night, it was dark, and I was walking along main roads. And so, yeah, this... be careful of your health when you just start doing exercise, because, you know, it's kind of dangerous. All right. No, early bird date is past. Okay. Yeah, I think we are back on track now, Alan. I don't see any other errors. Maybe we should test login and activity. We'll just... Yep, that's working. Now we need to test deleting an activity, because I don't want to... have my stats wrong. So yeah, this is a really lovely 116. Is it 116 today? Yes, it is. Delete that one. Yep, everything seems to be working great, other than the fact I can't publish it. Oh, it now says it's published. So we should be able to use that on the live site as well. Yep, everything seems to be back. All right, so now Alan has an app that doesn't have any security issues, and it doesn't have any console errors. And so that took us maybe in total 10 minutes to make an app completely safe for from a security point of view. Now, I normally ignore those errors until the app is kind of finished, just because it's easier to get everything working and then deal with security at the end. The problem is when you're constantly building, when do you actually do that thing? So maybe you should kind of set a time in your development to get that to build correctly. All right. Oh, I love it when it's near the end of the webinar and all the otters disappear and my participant list is actually just real people. Hi, real people. I should save something right to the end of the webinar to just add, just for the real people that stayed on. Obviously, it'll be in the recording, so those people that watch the recording will be able to do that. We've got 3 minutes. Any other questions before we move on? I'm glad, Alan, that you caught that error because it meant that we could fix that. We were working on the. I'll quickly do this. I'll quickly go back to the other app that we were working